And welcome to the Steve Malzberg Show. I am clearly not Steve. I'm Bill Tucker filling in for him. Steve has the day off for today. Carl Higbie, former U.S. Navy SEAL, spokesman for Great America PAC, and author of Enemies, Foreign and Domestic, a SEAL Story, is my guest now, and we welcome into the studio. Carl, great to see you. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
We're coming down to it. We got less than a week to go.
And Steve Malzberg is on.
And Steve, well, I think he had to take a little rest, get ready for Election Day. You know,
I'm just giving him a hard time.
Get it all in. You know, Steve's like on this, like stink on whatever. But we've got polls that literally are all over the place. We have him leading. We have Trump leading in North Carolina. We have Trump leading in Missouri. The national polls again are all over the place. Have them in a dead heat. The LA Times today came out with a poll. It gives him about a 6-point lead nationally.
Which, by the way, predicted the last Mitt Romney race by half a point.
Yeah, but he lost. So.
Right. Well, they predicted within half a point of the outcome. So I mean, it's a very accurate poll. It's
an interesting poll because it's the same group of people ask over and over and over and over again. They don't incorporate new people into it. For those of you who don't know how that works, they interview the same people during the election cycle to see how they are, you know, which way they're leaning at that particular moment, which some people say makes it a bad poll, and other people say no. The record of the poll actually, as you say, is actually very good. I know that you're a spokesman for Trump, so that there's not like a mystery in this answer, but can he finish it?
Yes.
Can he get it done?
As long as he doesn't send out a tweet that could be construed. Now, it doesn't even have to be...
That's a big as long.
It doesn't have to be a racy tweet. All it has to be is construed as that. And the left will take anything they can right now with the media, and they'll spin it. A ton of other networks out there will jump on anything he says and take it the wrong way. So all he needs to do is just lay low for the next 6 days and continue to do what he's doing. He's getting the support out there. I'll tell you, Bill, the one thing that I'm seeing all around the places we're going, we're seeing huge crowds of people at all these events we're doing. You know, Great America PAC, we're doing a huge bus tour nationwide right now. We're in Nevada, we're in Colorado, we're doing, Friday we'll be in Latrobe at the Trump House. And what we're seeing is people that have historically answered polls to say they're voting for Hillary Clinton are going to vote for Donald Trump. And you can't poll that accurately.
Well, it's interesting because there's another way of looking at this. We've been told throughout this whole election cycle, for good reason, these are the two most disliked candidates in electoral history to ever run for president. But we also have seen that the passion for the Trump supporter is much greater than the passion of the Clinton supporter. I think at the last check it was like 57% of Trump supporters are passionate about voting for him, while only 41% are passionate about voting Hillary Clinton.
And when it comes down to it, when it comes down to turnout, that's where Trump wins. Is you have this rolling support now of people that are so enthusiastic. Like, look, I live in a homeowners association. Every house is on 1 acre and everything like that. It says you're not supposed to put up yard signs. There's Trump signs all over my neighborhood. There's no Hillary signs.
Trump supporters breaking the law, are they? Is that what's going on, Carl?
Yeah, well, come take them down.
A disregard for the law.
Exactly.
Speaking of the law, let's talk about James Comey.
Okay.
He's caught a lot of heat. He was the near God. He was the to be anointed saint back in July. He didn't indict Hillary Clinton. He thought she was careless, but not indictable. Now he's the pariah of Washington, D.C. Do you think Comey just is a guy trying to do his job, or what's your take on where Comey is?
I mean, I think, first off, Comey has the worst job in the world right now. He's probably hated more than Anthony Weiner. But I think what happened was he saw this internal revolt. And I know some people that work in the FBI from my time in the military and things like that, and they were all pissed off. They were all incredibly annoyed that Comey did not indict her or make the decision to pass on the indictment. And I think what he's seeing is now, with this new thing of 650,000 email, all they have to find is one single email on there from Hillary that was not previously turned over, and I think they've got total grounds to reopen it because now she's violated her subpoena.
Well, part of the rumor, and I want to emphasize it is a rumor, part of the rumor is that some of those 33,000 emails that went missing that are under congressional subpoena might actually be within those 650,000. The other side is, of course, there's absolutely nothing there and nothing's going to happen. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be Mr. Comey right now. I will tell you anecdotally, there's an FBI agent who works at my gym in the morning, and he does not want to see me anymore because I busted his chops one day, and he just shook his head, and he's been avoiding running into me ever since. And it was in a good-natured way. I have a great deal of respect for the guy.
But I mean, you have people right now. This voting is taking place on behalf of whether or not you don't want to vote for Trump because he called someone fat, maybe, or whether you don't want to vote for Hillary Clinton because she might go to jail. I mean, that's a big difference.
It's a huge difference.
It's like the American the fact that this is even as close to a 50-50 race as it is remarkable. I mean, what are these people doing?
Well, you know, the Trump campaign has finally, at long last, hit on, I think, what is an issue that they've been avoiding and are ignoring, or I don't know what they didn't know existed, but they finally hit on the Obamacare. You know, Obamacare is a disaster. Even Democrats admit that we're in a disaster. Bill Clinton's even called it crazy, which it is.
Well, he denied it this morning.
Well, he denied calling it crazy?
He denied that he ever said that it was crazy.
Well, we got him on tape.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What took the... I don't know that you were privy to these discussions, but why did they not mind this sooner than they have been?
You know, when you're hunting with a big silver bullet, you wait for a perfect shot. And, you know, a week before the election, when you know that numbers are going to be coming out, when healthcare premiums are starting to roll in for people, the bottom line that people vote on in this election, regardless of their political affiliation, is going to be what comes into their pocket from their paycheck. And this is the ticket. They waited till the last minute and they seized it.
Well, this morning, again, working out this morning, I had an emotional discussion with a good friend of mine who owns a small business. And he had had a bad meeting yesterday with his insurance agent because his insurance agent said, look, you got to stop paying for the insurance for your guys. Now, this guy runs an excavating business. These guys who work for him have been there for a long time. He's been paying roughly $64,000 a year out of his own pocket to cover them. It's going to cost him about $104,000 this next cycle to continue the same coverage, actually with a higher deductible. Yep. And he's torn up. He's sick about it. This is not a guy who is a political operative. He's not a banker. He's not a banker. This is a guy who's out there. I mean, he's moving dirt. He's moving stuff around. And he's sick because it affects him, and it affects the guys who work for him, and it affects the families of the guys who work for him. Absolutely. It's a huge, huge issue.
Thank you, Obama.
Yeah, thank you very much. But you can keep your doctor, by the way.
But it was, or your plan.
Oh,
but it was Hillary Care before it was Obamacare. Remember that?
Well, what scares me on this, and we're finally getting around to talking about it, is Mike Pence has come out. I don't know whether I agree with Trump's particular plan to replace Obamacare because I haven't had a chance to analyze it. But we know that the Democrats, we know where they want to go. They want to go with the public option on this, so that the very same company, if you will, the government, the U.S. government, that gives you Medicare and that provides health care for the VA, will take over the health care of America.
Let's turn all hospitals into the VA. It sounds like a great idea.
What's going on with that? I mean, holy smoke. Yeah. Now, I saved the best for last. Because down in North Carolina, there is the Democrat senatorial candidate, Deborah Ross. She is former head of the ACLU. And it came out yesterday in a really well-written article by the Washington Free Beacon that Miss Ross has gone in and defended bar owners who want to exclusively ban members of the military from drinking in their bars. And her argument is really bizarre. She said they have the right to do this because they're not a protected class, meaning they didn't choose, they weren't born a color, they weren't born a sex, they weren't born with a sexual identity, they chose to be in the military. And so by choosing to be in the military, they've exempted themselves from outside any protections, and so bar owners, if they don't want to let them in,
well, she chose to say that, so maybe police officers should choose not to defend her in the case of emergency. The fact of the matter is, and which camera is on right now? The crazy thing is that you have a woman defending bar owners that say we don't want to have military members. Guess what? That's their right not to serve serve alcohol to military members, not have them in. So if you're a terrorist, if you're a jihadist out there watching Newsmax TV, those are the bars that you go and attack because nobody will stop you. I mean, we'll stop you when you come out, but go ahead and take free reign inside there. I mean, that's literally what they're saying.
That's crazy. It never reminded me of something. You're talking about jihadists, and I was reading something this morning, and it talked about how Obama was a Muslim-hating man. Right. I know Oz Sultan, who is a Muslim, who is a Trump spokesman. Why do people keep getting it wrong? He doesn't like terrorists.
Right.
It's not that he doesn't like Muslims. How many times are you going to say that, and how many times have you had to say that?
Right. And it's been said very eloquently that, all jihadis were of Muslim faith, but not all of Muslim faith are jihadis. So guess what? It's like, squares a rectangle, rectangle on a square sort of thing. The fact is, he wants to protect America. It's so simple. Protect America. And guess what? Target the faction that is generally targeting America and then work your way down from there.
Yeah, no, it's funny because this election, as we come down to it, starts to get focused. It gets focused on Obamacare. It gets focused on the fact that Mr. Trump wants to secure the borders. Right. And we know through tapes that were in emails that were released, she is on record as believing in open borders, as believing in not securing the borders. Somehow, mysteriously, she thinks that's going to protect us. I guess because everybody will like us because we let them in.
Well, we've been doing this world apology tour and letting everybody walk all over all of our policies and all of our ideas for what, 8 years now? And has it worked? No. Are we safer? No.
No.
Absolutely not.
We're not, as a matter of fact. And it's weird. I don't know why we continue to do that. Jimmy Carter, who was a really nice guy, tried to do that during his presidency, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, we ended up being embarrassed mightily with the hostages in Iran and a failed military mission.
When did they turn him over? Day one of Ronald Reagan.
Day one of Ronald Reagan's election, as a matter of fact. I guess they weren't meddling, were they? They weren't meddling, were they? They weren't like the Russians meddling in our elections.
No. And that's the thing. Every Democrat has come out and said, well, this is about the Democratic, about the Russians getting into our election. What proof do you have of that?
It's because we don't want to talk about the content, Carl. Just shut up. We don't want to talk about the content.
My bad.
Thanks, Carl. Appreciate you.